up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener. Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm. Because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
What up, though? People, it's Wake Up Woodward, and we appreciate you guys for choosing to kick off this, victory show. Hey, you know what? This one is thrice as nice because this one is a sweep. Talk about a bounce back for those Detroit Tigers. It's going to be a great day overall for the city, the great city of Detroit, and the great state of Michigan. It's your boy Brandon Dan, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Flannel Sam, the man of so much here at Woodward Sports, our vet, also Red Wings correspondent, and Riley Green jersey wearer. What up, though, brother?
Hey, what up? How sweep it is. You see what I just did? No, but what a great series win for the Tigers. Great day to be alive. I'm in a good mood for the most part, and yeah, we're certainly going to talk a lot of Tigers in the first hour. However, this is something I do want to warn you about. It might get a little spicy at about the 8:30, 8:45 mark because Nicholas Koloff disappointed me last night. I was watching the heavyweights and he, to paraphrase or quote Michael Corleone from Godfather 2, you broke my heart. But no,
Are the shades to hide the tears?
No, they are not, and it's a small gripe, but we'll get to it. And it spawned off into something. And if you watched the heavyweights last night, I was fortunate enough to tune into most of the show. I got a little chirpy, so you guys might already know what's coming. But after that, we are going to talk some Lions. PFF came out with a list of the top 32 edge rushers. Where does Aidan Hutchinson rank? Do you think that ranking is fair? And there's also another player who finds his way on the list that could play a big role in the Lions season. Maybe, maybe not. Find out. That's probably going to be the second hour.
Hey, you know what, man? These Detroit Tigers, 4-3 win. I just continue to think, like, Justin, go and queue up another graphic because you know what? They just won another series. I think they've lost still just a handful of series all year. We're getting into the precipice of the season when usually we're talking about the changes this team needs to make just to find a way to become a playoff team. And now we're talking about what are any tweaks they need to make to become a World Series not contender, but to make sure that they can solidify their spot as a participant there. But it starts by doing these things. They are clearly taking each and every game serious, and every single series but serious. But chat fam, you know what else is serious? You guys, as the most important part of the Woo Crew production. Let's go ahead and run up those likes. It is a Grand Prix weekend, Detroit Grand Prix weekend. The city is getting taken over. And I can't wait. I know we're going to have some boots on the ground. So it's a lot of winning going on in the city. The sun is shining. Woodward Ave is going to definitely be in the spotlight. And I know we have boots on the ground in the city last night, too, with Justin. Kavasi, were you down there last night and such?
No, I was not. JB, did you make it down there?
Oh, yeah. I was. I made it down there.
Mr. Fast was down there.
It was a very cool event for the following thing. Unfortunately, it did get canceled because of the rain. Just delayed too long, and then we didn't want to keep people too long, but it was a really cool event. A lot of great drivers were down there. We got to interview a lot of them, and a couple Lions as well too. Jake Bates and Jack Fox were down there, man. So I'm telling you right now, they are the nicest and coolest people you will ever meet.
Hey, I don't know, JB, you're pretty nice and cool yourself.
Oh, I appreciate that, man.
Oh yeah. Dude, like they should be fortunate that they get to meet JB if they're so fortunate enough to get the pleasure.
Facts.
Hey, facts. And I know I would love Justin to be able to speak on it, but you know what? This dude, Justin, he continues to elevate, man. You know what? Just briefly, and then we jump right into these Tigers, man. Just so Justin can talk about his experience a little bit later. But 4-3 win for the Tigers.
Yeah.
4-3 win as they take the sweep over the Giants.
You know what's so great about this Tigers team and their resiliency and just the ebbs and flows of a baseball season? If you would have told me Saturday night that after the Tigers had lost their third in a row to the Guardians in heartbreaking fashion, this one in extra innings after the previous 2 games, scoring 1 run in 2 games, shout out Spencer Torkelson for that solo homer, that the Tigers would have an objectively successful homestand, I would have basically told them to piss off. And yes, I gained the phrase piss off from my time in Ireland with Europe. But seriously, I would have been like, there is no chance in the world. Because honestly, the only way that you could even argue that it would be a successful homestand after that is if you go on and win 4 in a row. And I'm not saying this isn't a good team. I'm not saying that they weren't capable of it. It's just we all had a bad taste in our mouth. But what did the Tigers do? They went out and they actually won the last game against the Guardians off the back of Tarek Skubal and then swept the Giants for a 4-3 homestand. And a 4-3 homestand might not seem like anything special, but this is a 4-3 homestand against 2 teams that you're probably going to see in the playoffs. Maybe, maybe not, we shall see. And the fact that the Tigers, before this homestand, had built up a cushion in which they were 5.5 games up in first place. They were 16 games over 500. You're not always going to go 5-2, 6-1, 5-1, 4-2 on these homestands. You just got to win. You just have to play good baseball. And that's what they did. And now after all of that, after that 4-3 homestand, they now have an even larger lead in the AL Central. They are 6 ahead of the Guardians, 6 ahead of the Twins, and 7 ahead of the Kansas City Royals. The Detroit Tigers are in the catbird seat right now, and all they had to do was go on a 4-3 homestand, and everything is just fine.
Against some, the bottom dredges of the Major League Baseball standings? No, against some of the better teams in Major League Baseball, and that to me is what makes this that much better. Would you have liked to at least taken one more game from the Guardians? You would have, but that's where I continue to go back to Cavassier Chase and his comments before the series and allowing that to have some place in my mind as we went into the Guardians series and tried to separate the emotion of wanting to beat Ohio in everything and realizing there's a bigger picture here for these Tigers, and that is going to be a loss. That if this team is who I think they are, a team that's going to be able to overcome adversity, a team that's going to be able to rock with the lows, rock with the slumps, rock when the pitchers are getting rocked. You know what? They can go through all of that, and guess what? They still have everything in front of them. They still have the destiny in front of them, and guess what? For as good as, like you said, the Guardians did in that series against the Tigers are still the team that has widened their lead in this division, and I think that to me, I think that builds their confidence just that much more because now they do know when we do go and play the Guardians even next time, this is going to give us that much more in this division, that much more in this AL. But when I look at this team, I love the way that they can win in a plethora of ways. There's times when they can put an ace out there on the mound, and they have 2 or 3 of those guys that can do that. And you'll look and you'll see 2 or 3 pitchers' names. And then there's those nights where you can get some good stuff out of your starter, and you still have to piece together 4 or 5 other names from the bullpen. And then from the bats, there's nights where you see the lineup go out there and they do what they do, and other times when A.J. Hinch is out there doing his micromanagement thing. It doesn't matter. And that, to me, being able to keep these teams off balance, their opponents, is one of the keys to success this year. And shout out to Harris for getting A.J. Hinch just a little bit more to play with, and those guys on the squad who they didn't listen to the noise. They didn't listen to even their own trends. They just continued to work. And look.
Hey, and before I respond to that, because you mentioned Scott Harris and more to play with, I got to read this from a Rando Smalls. It's a $10 super chat. And me and Rando have had our battles, but I think we're in lockstep on this one because I think we're both just big baseball fans and appreciate the ebbs and flows, old school, new school, all of it. You guys don't know how much players have to forget their last at-bat. It is probably the hardest thing in sports to fail so much and still be successful. Every single hitter, the greatest of all times, the Hank Aaron's, the Willie Mays', the Ted Williams, the Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds, Pujols, Miggy, etc., 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 every single one of them have failed more than they've succeeded. Every single one of them. And that's the crazy thing about baseball. That's what makes hitting a baseball just so unique and such a mental game, such a large sample size type of type of just a thing in sports. It's just, you're absolutely right, Rando Smalls. I appreciate you for mentioning that. But speaking of, go ahead, Chase.
Sorry, this is something that bothers me. I think hitting a baseball is hard, yes, but I think when people need to put in the caveat, like, there's also people in the field trying to make the play and stuff like that too. I think like hitting a baseball and then just like getting a hit are two different things.
100%. So. Yeah, no, and that's actually what I kind of more of what I mean, because
I think so, yeah.
It's not difficult to, if you're a professional hitter, to like foul a pitch off or to ground one softly to short. That's what I meant, like hitting, like being a consistently good hitter. Because as I said, everybody who's ever played baseball at a high level has failed more than they've succeeded, even the greatest who've ever lived. But speaking of more players or more toys for the Tigers to play with, players that Scott Harris added, I posted something on social media yesterday. I am officially starting the Tommy Kahnle to the All-Star Game movement, because yesterday he was the absolute definition of big time. After his teammate, John Brebbia, who's been the one Scott Harris signing this offseason that hasn't really worked so far, led on second and third with nobody out in the top of the 8th inning. What does Tommy Kahnle come in and do? First pitch, gives up a soft, shallow fly ball to left that wasn't deep enough to advance the runner home. 1 out. Still not out of trouble, not out of the woods yet. Second batter. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, 3-pitch strikeout, and then with 2 outs, 2 on, second and third, Mike Yastrzemski comes up, who is one of the more dangerous hitters in a not great Giants lineup, but he can still do some damage, and Tommy Kahnle forces a ground out, and then in the top of the 9th goes 1-2-3 to close down the club for his 7th save of the season, a 6-out save. That is absolutely big time. I don't know about you guys, but when I was watching the game, when it was second and third, nobody out, 1-run lead, top of the 8th, I almost conceded in my head as a fan, he's probably going to give up 1. Hopefully the Tigers can go to the bottom of the 8th tied, get a run. Maybe if they don't get a run there, hold him in the 9th, walk it off in the bottom of the 9th. But Tommy Kahnle stranded both of those runners and then went 1-2-3 in the top of the 9th. All of those 6th outs on 17 pitches, 15 strikes. That's big time, but that's not the first time he's done that this season. This season, he has 7 saves and 6 holds. He's been in a variety of different situations. He has an ERA of 1.52, a whip of 0.80, which is insane, in 22 innings pitched. Get Tommy Kahnle to the All-Star game, particularly if the Tigers continue to roll and have the best or one of the best records in baseball.
Yeah, and when you talk about continue to roll, obviously you want to see them go and continue to roll against the Kansas City Royals, especially with the flannel ball looming just around the corner between the Cubs and the Cubs and the Tigers. That's what makes the series sandwiched in between the Cubs and the Royals, which is the White Sox one. You want to see the Tigers obviously continue their streak of winning series, but I believe they can fatten themselves up. They are 3 games away from game number 60. They're 17 games up. They have a chance to be 20 games above 500 at the 60-game mark of the series. That's incredible for these Detroit Tigers.
Well, this is just to kind of get into the next couple series. This to me speaks of the ebbs and flows of a baseball season. Give yourself a cushion. Don't expect too much. And for the record, the Tigers are absolutely capable. They got 3 at Kansas City, 4 at Chicago playing the White Sox. They're more than capable of going. And then the Cubs. but these are. But I'm going to focus on these 2 for now. They're more than capable of going 5-2, 6-1. But honestly, if you look at these next 7 games. If the Tigers win 4, I'm thrilled. If they win 3, I'm not panicking. If they win 2, I'm a little bit upset because 4 of those games are against the White Sox. But to me, it's just like, take at least 4. Anything after that is gravy. Anything after that, and you're probably going into that home series against Chicago with, at the very least, a 7-game lead in the division.
And you know what I'm also learning to do? Not to panic. If it doesn't go according to plan, not to panic. This is a team that now has earned a little bit of that. As you see them be able to realistically find themselves through slumps, through a couple game losses and such. And this is the same thing we said. Obviously, in football, you don't want to see back-to-back losses because you play less games. And what the Lions do, they have now through 2.5 seasons haven't lost that. for the Pistons. We said, who is this team going to be when it looks like, okay, you got 3 wheels that have fallen off. What are you going to do? You're going to keep the 4th one on and figure out how to get the other 3 back on? Well, yeah, they figured out that adversity. They lose 2-3 games. They still punched their way back. They started the season off 0-4. They punched their way back. The Tigers, they started off 0-3 with a sweep at the hands of the Dodgers. And we've seen them go through slumps from their stars. We saw Terry Scuba not necessarily start off the way that some people thought that he would. I think that was overblown anyway, but we understand the standard that he holds himself to. But these teams, it doesn't matter. They're now figuring this thing out. I think it's a little bit of confidence in themselves, in addition to obviously what the management is doing to put them in the best positions to succeed. But that confidence, that winning, everybody kind of using the same key words and identifying with the people in the city and what it means. Like, that's what makes this thing so awesome. Is because I now know, and I do believe, these teams have it figured out. It's more than a flash in the pan. And with these Tigers, the confidence that they're playing with right now, you see it in Torkelson, you see it in Javi Baez, and then you see it in the guys we expect to see it from. Riley Green still looks unbothered, and Terry Skubal still looks like, I will eat your face off.
Yeah,
like straight up.
Yeah, and before I'm seeing the slings and arrows in the chat because Riley Green's not allowed to fail once or else I get dunked on. He had a bad game yesterday. 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, that's bad, but his teammates picked him up. And speaking of said teammates,
exactly the point.
That's the thing. That's all that should be taken from it, but that's not all that has been taken from it, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more later. But we also have to give credit to a couple of young players who Tiger fans have a lot of high hopes for, but have struggled hitting so far this year. Both of them have a high on-base percentage, but both of them have struggled hitting. Give it up to Colt Keith and Justin Henry Malloy. I mean, shout out to the guys in the back. There were a couple of videos on our socials of the guys reacting. Justin was one of them, to Colt Keith and Justin Henry Malloy's big hits, which were in the bottom of the 5th when they were down 3-0, and those 4 runs were the only runs they would score, and that was enough for them to win that game. Colt Keith, bases loaded, nobody out, laces a double down the right field line, scores 2. At that point, you're thinking this could be a big inning because it's 2nd and 3rd, nobody out, 3-0 lead had been cut to 3-2. But then the Giants bring in their stud reliever, Randy Rodriguez, and he strikes out Riley Green. He strikes out Wensiel Perez. And then coming up to the plate was Justin Henry Malloy. And at that point, as much as I like Justin Henry Malloy, I was a little skeptical of whether or not he would come through, especially since at that point, it's not good enough to just hit a deep fly ball to the outfield or a well-placed ground ball. You have to get a hit or at least extend the inning with a walk. But what did Justin Henry Malloy do in a situation where Riley Green had failed a couple at-bats before and Wensiel Perez had failed the at-bat before? He laces a sharply hit single into left field, scores those 2 runs, and the Tigers do not look back. Unlikely heroes. And don't get me wrong, we still have high hopes for Colt Keith and Justin Henry Malloy, but still, Colt Keith is hitting 231, Justin Henry Malloy is hitting 220. Didn't matter yesterday. They came through when it mattered the most, and salute to you both.
Hey, you know what? And I'm gonna throw it over to Justin real quick, but I gotta shout out Grim in the chat. Grim is on some type of energy right now, and I gotta read this because remember earlier we were talking about the teams that they're gonna face: the Royals, the White Sox, and I said, and then you said the Cubs, and he puts in all caps, and then the bum-a Orioles, and then a few more lines down in all caps: IDGAF, Tigers, the best team in the MFN league. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. You know what? Rock with it. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, LFG. Let's go, man. That's that type of fired up energy that I like. And you know what? It is because these teams, we talk about it, man. The passion of the fans. We know that they're always watching. We know that because sports radio, sports talk in this town, it is more than alive and well, and it has a whole lot of engagement, even when the teams are down. Think about it. Woodward Pistons grew while the Pistons were setting losing records. Think about that. Well, Woodward Wings is growing right now. Obviously, they're right at the precipice, but they're not even at the other levels of these other teams.
Yeah, the Woodward Wings are clearly the 4th wheel in this town right now, and we're still thriving. Shout out Justin and Spenny.
To the energy in the chat, man, that we can have for our teams, especially now that they're starting to win in Woodward Avenue, man. This is starting to feel like a year-round thing. Remember, Flannel, when we started setting this thing up before, and I know, JB, you will have this. It used to be, hey, Lions, cool event. Now it's like a year-round thing because all of our teams are doing their thing, and we got the best golf courses around as well, especially in the summer. It's like Michigan is a fabulous place to be in Woodward. It's a block party, seriously, with all 4 of those teams out there.
I'm pretty sure Michigan has the most golf courses per capita of any state in the USA.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
I'm pretty sure I'm
yeah,
right.
It's a beautiful state.
Right now,
it's
dog.
an absolutely
We
gorgeous
own
state.
sports, man. I don't care what anybody says. Miserable my butt.
Let's get one championship first before I say own sports. But to say not miserable, I agree with you on that. I'm happy as a clam right now. Obviously, I'd like the Wings to do better, but 3 out of your 4.
My name is Detroit Kool-Aid. I
Yeah.
have a problem.
That's all right. 3 out of the 4 teams being playoff teams, but also playoff teams on the rise. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. It's a great feeling, and it's certainly a lot more fun doing shows when you can wear victory shades.
Oh my word, man! Talk about it. You know what? That dude Justin, the Detroit Tigers, they get another series win. They get another sweep. I guess we're gonna have to start counting that one too. So obviously, update your graphic on series wins. But let's see how many sweeps they've gotten this year. It's got to be at least a few in there. But how you feeling, man? This Tigers Energy Grand Prix weekend. You're kind of one of the stars of the weekend for us. I know you have, you've been there a couple years interviewing, the racers and such. So you got a lot of energy going on right now.
Yeah, it's a very live time for me. I mean, we're going to record Woodward Wings after this, so that's going to be a good time. But in terms of these Tigers, I mean, they're the talk of the town. They really are showing that they're the class of this city. And I know the Lions usually have that title, but the Tigers continue to win and continue to be the best team in baseball. And I know that we had the little hiccup with the Guardians, but then you bounce back and you parlay it with sweeping one of the best teams in the NL. It kind of just makes that Guardian series seem like an afterthought, that it was just a one-off. Like, they didn't have a good weekend. They had a lot of their best players slumping. And I think now you're starting to see, like, it doesn't matter who's across the field. They can beat anyone. What I really would love to see is just to continue to have these control of these series, to go into these game 3s, already have won the series. And that's what they constantly do. They win the early games of the series. They win the games where Schoolball's on the bump. They just control the controllables, and everything seems to work out for them. So it's a great mix. It's a great mix of vibes and getting timely hits. You can't say a lot, honestly. It's just great time to be a Detroit baseball fan. And I was even talking to Jack Fox yesterday, and he was telling me how much he's been enjoying the Tigers season. So even the Lions are coming out and supporting. You saw DeBrincat at the game the other day for the Wings. So it's nice to see Detroit supporting Detroit as well.
Yes, absolutely.
I like that. That's a bar. It's nice to see Detroit supporting Detroit.
It's so nice to see Detroit supporting Detroit. And now that I am taking a peek at the standings, even though I guess technically they're tied. Nope, by a single percentage point, the Detroit Tigers have the best record in Major League Baseball, with the second being the Philadelphia Phillies. And unfortunately, the New York Yankees are on fire as well, but the Tigers still maintain the best record in the American League, although that margin has shrunk a bit, even with the Tigers playing so well. But Yankees, time to cool off in just a second. Do us a solid.
Hey, you know what? Everything is good in Detroit right now, including lunch. Buddy's Pizza has been serving the original Detroit-style pizza since 1946, and 79 years later, they have 22 locations in this great state of pure Michigan. Fans can still visit where it all began on the corner of 6 Mile and Conant. Sign up today for Buddy's Rewards to earn points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions. Download the Buddy's Pizza mobile app and start earning. Add some Detroit-style to your next meal. And remember, guys, use a promo code 10MIL to save 10% off your entire order. That promo code, that's the number 10MEAL, Buddy'sPizza.com.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
boys of summer are here, and Woodward Sports is all over the Motor City with the White Claw Tigers Tour. Come party with Woodward Sports, watch the Tigers, and sip on some White Claw all summer long. The best bars, big giveaways, live events, and a party that only Woodward Sports can throw. Ain't no party like a Woodward Sports party. Join us Friday, June 13th from 5 to 7 with the heavyweights at Nemo's in Corktown for the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw and Ven Johnson.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak? Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Belegian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media: X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, Planet Fitness, fitness that fits your budget. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, fairly knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. Did you know that all Planet Fitness memberships include fitness training for no extra cost? Want all the perks? Upgrade to the PF Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card Spa featuring hydro massage, massage chairs, and total body enhancement, and more, along with access to over 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com.
What up, dog people? Welcome back. And what's that? Oh, that's another series win for the Detroit Tigers. If you might have missed it, a 4-3 victory over the Giants to send them out of town. You know what? As the Tigers have done a lot of teams, and that's what a series win. They don't let adversity. They don't let a few losses. They don't let slumps. They don't let even their best player, in the batting lineup, if he's having an off night, you know what? This team is finding ways to overcome a lot, and this is what you want to see out of a team who, you know what, Major League Baseball said is a real squad. Yeah. You look at the record now, and like you said, by percentage points, they are back to being the best team record-wise in all of baseball.
Yeah, and if you would have told me before the season that at this point, with Parker Meadows not playing at all, and Matt Vierling playing 4 games, and Wensiel Perez playing 2, that they'd have a better record than the Philadelphia Phillies, I would not have agreed. I would have been thrilled, but I would not have agreed. I would have probably thought you were a little crazy, but that's the reality of the situation, man. They've got a better record than the Phillies and the Yankees. They have a better record than everybody.
Hey, you know what? And they didn't do it by eating and beating up on cupcakes. They've done it by beating some of the best teams in baseball. But JB Smooth, I know that the chat family's had a lot to say. They've been sending in those super chats. So I'll throw it over to you in the TD booth that is Woodward Sports MVP.
Yeah, shout out to everyone sending in super chats. I appreciate it. A $1.99 from Dante151. He said the Tigers have swept 5 teams so far this year, fellas. 5 teams. And Randall Small sent in $5 once again, saying, I've been saying this since spring, World Series or bust. Who do you guys got for your World Series MVP? I have a wild card and one Mr. JHM, Justin Henry.
Those are a couple of really good super chats, and I want to just further those points because, yeah, the the Tigers, they got a big sweep over the San Francisco Giants. But one thing and they are a good team, but one thing that I've liked about this Tigers team is they take out the trash, for lack of a better term. They had a home series against the White Sox, swept them. They had a road series at Colorado, swept them, and threw a hitting party all over Coors Field. They had a home series against what turns out to be the shitty, poopy Orioles, swept them. That's one of the
One of my favorite Flannel Sam phrases.
That's actually, I borrowed that from Spencer. That was a Spencer-ism. It's just that the Baltimore Orioles are absolute shit poop this year.
Shout out to Grim, man. He knew. He's still putting in the emojis and everything, and he puts FTG, FTS, FTC. Yes. I agree with you, man. Yes. Detroit Tigers to the moon. And it's all, this is so, it's so unexpected. I thought that they would be good. We all put in our season predictions. You had 88. I thought 91. About 20 games into the season, or 25 games, and you were like, yeah, this is definitely probably going beyond both of our predictions. And just to see how it's happening, they look like they expect this. Like, I don't even see a team that, you remember when the Lions back in the day, man, and they jetted off to 6-2 and are yelling into the camera, woo, we're going to the playoffs. And then everything fell apart. It's like, this team is just a team, this Tigers team, that looks like they've been there before. Like, you know what? We're just out here to handle our business, do our work. You know, you see the fun and the camaraderie that baseball teams have with each other, their teammates and such. They just look like, you know, shades of teams that we grew to really, really love and see a lot of success from. And to see it right now, happening right now with this squad, man, it's really, really special that they're not letting anything bother them. That's my biggest takeaway. They've answered that question for me. And I see you in the chat from What Up the Old Detroit, with Detroit Gunny. He was talking about, hey, there's 24 more games until the halfway point. June 25th is the 81st game. Any predictions on their record? It's almost to the point where it's like if they finish 500, 12-12 in those games, they still have such a great record. But I expect them still to be a team that could potentially go and lose no more than maybe 7 games over the next 24.
That's a little aggressive for me. I wouldn't count it against them, though. That's one thing that I want to put out there. But without knowing the totality of the schedule, I know who they play in the next 3 series. Next 24 games, if they go 14-10, I'm doing backflips. Anything more than that, and I'm doing multiple backflips. And anything above 500, and I'm not panicking a bit, because I suspect that would probably still put them in a really good position. And also, I want to be fair to Rando Smalls, because he had a great super chat as well. I wanted to respond to both, and I'm going to repeat it for those of you who need a reminder. Thank you, JB Smooth, by the way. I've been saying since spring, World Series or bust. Who do you guys got for World Series MVP? I have a wild card, Justin Henry Malloy. And I'll tell you what, that's not crazy, Justin. No, dead serious. Let me tell you why that isn't crazy.
Justin on Justin crime.
Here, and I'll let you respond after I give my rebuttal to where Rando Smalls is actually maybe onto something. Last year, Justin Henry Malloy had over a 500 batting average in the playoffs. He was getting a hit damn near every time he walked up to the plate. So you know that at least in one small playoff sample size, he elevated his game to a level at which hasn't probably seen before or since. But also, when you look at just the history of World Series MVPs, and I know me and Chase have talked about it a lot. 2022, Houston Astros. Was it Altuve? Was it Yordan Alvarez? Was it Kyle Tucker? Was it Alex Bregman? No, it was Jeremy Pena. 2021, Ronald Acuna didn't play in the World Series for the Braves. Yeah, I mean, but that's the point. Unlikely heroes. No,
he was a rookie. Yeah. Jeremy Pena was a rookie, too.
Yeah, and that even furthers the point that it's just unlikely heroes happen all the time in the MLB playoffs. But yeah, Ronald Acuna in 2021 for the Atlanta Braves was out for the season. Jorge Soler was World Series MVP. Let's go back to 2018, the Boston Red Sox. Basically, Mookie Betts and JD Martinez were the 2 best offensive players in baseball that year. But when it came to the World Series, who was the World Series MVP?
Steve motherfucking Pierce.
A lot of you probably don't know who Steve Pierce is, and I don't even blame you for that, because he's basically like, that was his career moment. And if your career moment is winning a World Series MVP, that's amazing. And I got even one more example, and this isn't quite as obscure as some of them, but 2016 Cubs. Was it Anthony Rizzo? Was it Chris Bryant? No, it was Ben Zobrist. Yeah. Unlikely heroes appear in the MLB playoffs and in the World Series all the time. So would I bet my life savings on Justin Henry Malloy? Absolutely freaking not. but would I sprinkle $5 to potentially get like a life-changing payout? We'll see. It's not Rando. I've been critical of you when I thought that you were saying things that I disagree with. Today, you're absolutely cooking, my friend.
Yo, and I see the chat here, Grim, to the MF and Moon Kool-Aid. What up, though, with Detroit Gunny? I'm predicting 104 wins to match 84 Tigers, and he said 14-10 was his sweet spot as well for that record prediction over the next 24, which I think is a very, very fair one. I'm gonna still go aggressive because I think they can do it, but if it's 14-10, you're right. I'm liking that. And Jessica Dean says, Flannel, you better start learning how to do backflips.
Hey,
and this,
yeah.
What up, though?
Yeah, I probably shouldn't. It's a figure of speech. But just remember, it's not always a figure of speech. I've still got that Riley Green jersey going strong, and I'm not taking it off.
He pays his bets.
But the backflips thing, maybe I'll stop using that as an example because I literally can't do a backflip on a trampoline. I literally can't.
I was about to say we have to take you to at least a trampoline park.
I cannot do a backflip on a trampoline. I cannot do a somersault on the floor. I have the acrobaticism.
Whoa.
That's not a word. Dead ass.
I have to a trampoline park or something.
I've told you, I am the worst athlete probably in the building. I am the least flexible person in the building. I have the least acrobaticism of anybody in the building. Acrobaticism certainly isn't a word, but who gives a fuck? Yeah.
What? I'm gonna use it though.
But I own it.
You can't somersault, Sam?
No. The only time I've ever somersaulted is involuntarily when I got rocked.
Just bend down and try to look at your own asshole. You'll voluntarily somersault, bro.
Hey, I got faults in life, man. Maybe I'll practice. I was gonna. Well, no, it's because on a football field, getting lit up by some of the best players and just doing a somersault involuntarily. But it's been, I played 2 years of high school football, 2 very mediocre years of high school football, so it's been a long time since I've somersaulted involuntarily. And honestly, you know what? So we can remain as close to on time as possible.
Can I talk about Cameron Malloy real quick?
Yes, I promised. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. I know we got sidetracked, but
yep.
I see what you're talking about because especially with the postseason, the magnifying glass gets more intense, and he is someone who has constantly great at-bats, and that's something that you can't undervalue in a postseason. I'll give you credit there. I just don't think that this team is set up for him to have that big of a postseason because of the fact that he's not always in the lineup, especially as we get more right-handed hitters back in the lineup. I just don't know. I can't say that, all right, he's going to play in 5 games of a 7-game World Series and be effective in every single one of them. What I can do is say, Tarek Skubal is going to start 2 games and come out of the bullpen most likely in a World Series game, and that would be my first lean would be Tarek Skubal because he's going to have a Madison Bumgarner type postseason if we do win a World Series. So that is where I think that Tarek Skubal would be the easy answer, but then you have to think about in a series like that, the big swing is what changes the momentum of those series. So you got to be looking at Carey, you got to be looking at Torque, and you got to be looking at Riley Green as those 4 guys would be who I would be leaning towards when it came to a World Series MVP.
You got Flannel a little fired up?
No, everything you said is absolutely correct. That's why Rando Smalls was very careful in what he said, and I piggyback that. Dark horse. You're right. It's very unlikely Justin Henry Malloy wins a World Series MVP because he's not even as accomplished or as a part of the fabric of what these teams are doing as Ben Zobrist was with the Cubs or Jorge Soler with the Braves or Jeremy Pena with the Astros. It would be even more unlikely than those guys. I get it. It's you obviously think of Green, Torque, Carey's a good one. You mentioned Tarek. If Tarek Skubal has a Madison Bumgarner postseason, I will nut. Just involuntarily nut. And you guys will too. There's no females in the room, so I can say that. But Madison Bumgarner is arguably the greatest postseason pitcher ever.
It's a good night.
Dead ass.
I think the dark horse is...
Voice the reason. What up, though? Voice the reason.
And you guys would too.
The dark horse is definitely Dylan Dingler, in my opinion.
That's fair. That's a great one. And the reason why I said I won't repeat what I said that I would do is because if Tarek Skubal has a Madison Bumgarner postseason, congratulations to your 2025 World Series champion Detroit Tigers. That's a big if because Madison Bumgarner he's arguably the greatest postseason pitcher ever.
What was that? Game 1, Game 5, closed out Game 7?
Yes.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. That was against the that was the
Against the Royals.
Yes, the Royals.
Yeah. 20,
God, when he came in out of the bullpen, that aura, he was. Come on, you got to admit, him coming out in the World Series, that's the last person you wanted to see as a Royals, and like that is aura.
Randy Johnson pitched Game 6, and then he closed out Game 7 in 0-1, though. I think.
Randy Johnson and Schilling were both lights out.
I think they're both up there too.
And honestly, Kurt Schilling is up there for sure because of what he did in 0-4 with the Red Sox as well. But the point is that Madison Bumgarner, he's probably one of the greatest postseason elevators we've ever seen because he was a very good pitcher, and at times he was, I would say, great in the regular season, but in the playoffs he became basically, if you had regular season Clayton Kershaw and postseason Madison Bumgarner, you'd be looking at the greatest pitcher who ever lived.
That 2010 Giants team had Lincecum at his prime, Matt Cain about to blossom, like a rookie Madison Bumgarner, a veteran Barry Zito, and they had one other dude who was pretty fucking rock solid too. That 2010 Giants rotation was nasty.
Yeah, I got that. I got the stats on Bumgarner. This is actually insane.
It's disgusting,
dude.
It's mind-blowing.
52.2 innings with a 1.03 ERA. 45 strikeouts, 1 5-inning shutout save, and 2 shutouts in the World Series.
45 strikeouts in 50 innings?
He's
Goodness gracious.
He's a postseason legend. I wouldn't even be mad if he made the Hall of Fame just because he was very good in the regular season, but just all-time great in the playoffs. And then Randall Smalls is mentioning Mickey Lolich. Hey, shout out. 1968 was absolutely big time. That was another great postseason run, and it's closer to – none of us saw it, but obviously we all are baseball fans, and we know all about the 68 and 84 team as much as we possibly can. And, yeah, Mickey Lolich was absolutely big time. Let's go to break because when we come back, I'll tell you what. The saga of Flannel, Riley Green – sometimes Flannel versus Riley Green, sometimes Flannel and Riley Green versus the world, is greater than the Neil Javi Baez saga. I said it. I'm a little biased, but we're going to add another chapter to that when we come back. I don't even give a damn if you don't like it because the heavyweights disappointed me. And Nick Koloff, best Tigers beat reporter in the state, you broke my heart. I'm about to kiss you on the lips and say, I knew it was you. You broke my heart, just like Michael Corleone. But
Flannel's
find out when we come back.
this morning, man.
Yes.
People in the chat, I see y'all. Grim says ski.
You guys would too because it means the Tigers win a World Series.
Frisky Flannel. I love it. Let's get to the next segment, man. Who we got to say what I'm done to?
I got to tell them about merch, but first, ski. Dude, do yourself a favor. Head over to woodwardsports.com. Click on that shop tab. We got new designs coming for you every single week. We might need to work on a flannel ski shirt at some point in time. I don't even know. But we got the Woodward Tigers gear that's available for you and the LFG Red Wings t-shirts, hoodies. They are still available for you right now. So head over to woodwardsports.com and click on that shop tab.
Hey, Big Musket.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, Why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won.
We got Tully, everybody. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
You already know it's Loom Cannabis time here. I don't have my regular glass on. I can't see shit right now, you guys, so bear with me. You already know Loom Cannabis, but did you know they've got all the brands you love now for less with unbeatable prices, a wider selection, and the best loyalty program? Loom is the premier destination for new and experienced shoppers alike. Experience Michigan's #1 recreational dispensary at one of their 38 locations. Use code WSN30 for 30% off your order. Go to loom.com and use that promo code WSN30.
I'm sorry, no. What up, though, people?
Bless you, Justin.
Welcome back. You started something, man. Hold on,
I did.
Hold on, let me get what's up the phone. What up, though, people? It's Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you, chat family, for choosing to kick off this day with the Woo Crew. And you got some people who will join you in the streets, apparently. Chuckle Cheese. I would skeet paint in the city if Tigers win the World Series.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot more people who agree with you.
And Justin, you gave the full stats on Madison Bumgarner's postseason career. In 2014, in 7 innings, 52 innings pitched, 1.03 ERA. And he was also great in the 2010 run as well. Just insane. So if that's the type of run we could get from Tarek Skubal, Tigers are winning the World Series.
Definitely.
No question in my mind.
And we were talking about it during the break as well. Just, the points you brought up and knowing how personal he takes kind of the Tigers in the playoffs on himself. I think that's just going to motivate him that much more because you're right. He had a hell of a playoff run. He was a big part of the reason why the Tigers had the opportunity to be there. And I do believe the type of player he is, the improvements we see this year, I do believe that series, I believe we created a monster with Terry Skubal who's going to dominate these playoffs in similar fashion that Justin is kind of foreshadowing.
Hey, I certainly hope so. But for this one, and I'm doing kind of the fake out of you guys, my bad, Chase. I need to be a little bit more sharp for this one because when we're wilding out, when we're celebrating, I can be a little bit more loose. But I can't see very well with those on. None of us can. I have to make sure that I am sharp, I am calm, I am cool, and I'm collected. I have a feeling I won't be calm, cool, and collected in just a second.
I can't see. I have corrective lenses. I'm flying blind with those things on.
Hey, shout out Chase for coming through still, for playing hurt or playing with hindered eyesight.
He's just in the, you know what? He's just in the victory vibes, and that's what I absolutely love. He's like, yo, anything, man. If he was like, look, if the team doing it, this is what we're doing. Victory shades. We know how it goes, and we only get these moments. Like, think about what we had, all the other victories of the past that we were able to celebrate. Now that I'm realizing, it's not as push button that your teams are just gonna have this. I appreciate when I see Chase like, you know what, F it, I'll be blind for this because how often are we going to be able to celebrate our teams percolating the way they are right now? I like it, man. I like it.
Yes. So I gotta pull out the swords for Mr. Riley Green again, and you know that it's been a very complicated season for me and Riley Green, but for the most part, it's been 100% glazing, being very supportive when he's been great, and at times having to do what I don't like and criticize him when he was going through some slumps. But one thing that I have found to be one of my biggest pet peeves is what I like to call unfair criticism of Riley Green. Justified criticism of Riley Green is one thing. You can knock him for his bad slump earlier. You can knock him for the totality of his performance in the Guardians series. I have no problem with that whatsoever. However, I feel like this season, way too often, Every time he has a bad game, it turns into a referendum on what he isn't or what he can't do, and it just makes my skin crawl. Yes, he was terrible yesterday. Yes, he wore the golden sombrero. Yes, he didn't come through with second and third, nobody out. I understand that. But here's what also he did do the previous 2 games. The Tigers scored 6 runs. Riley Green drove in 4 of them. Game 1, he had the biggest hit of the game. And in Game 2, besides for the Wensiel Perez solo home run, Riley Green was the offense. The 2 wins prior to yesterday were driven by starting pitching and Riley Green. If you're Riley Green and you do that, and your team is able to pick you up in Game 3, I don't give a fuck if he goes 0 for 5 with 5 double plays hit into and makes an error in the field. He did enough, I think, to retain the grace of the fans. I think when you have one bad game, basically like after a couple of good ones that helped your team win games, Detroit sports media, Detroit sports fans, this is where Riley Green should get a soft landing, because I'll tell you what, I heard a little bit too much from Nick Koloff about lamenting about how he didn't come through. You gotta come through. Stars gotta come through. He can't be a superstar until he comes through. Here's the problem, though. Nobody comes through 100% of the time. It's to the point where I think a lot of people are expecting 1,000 batting average with runners in scoring position for the rest of the year, or else you're going to criticize him for every single one. And I understand his average with runners in scoring position this year in totality is not great. But you know what he is, guys? And a lot of you aren't going to believe this, and a lot of you, for some effed up reason, aren't going to like this. Let's look at the MLB RBI leaders, or the AL RBI leaders, JB Smoove, for somebody who doesn't come through. Huh! Weird! Rafael Devers 1 with 50, Aaron Judge 2 with 47, Spencer Torkelson 3 with 40, shout out to Torque, love seeing that 3-4. Number 4 in the entirety of the American League, Riley Green with 39. 39! 4th in the American League in RBIs. And people are still dinging him for every single time that he doesn't come through in a game in which Colt Keith and Justin Henry Malloy pick him up. How many times has Riley Green had to pick up teammates? How many times has he had to pick up Malloy and Keith, or even Torque at times, or could be Dylan Dingler, could be Gleyber Torres? But no, I don't use that when Riley Green plays well to ding other teammates, because in my opinion, somebody like Spencer Torkelson doesn't deserve any criticism for this year. He's been fantastic. Gleyber Torres doesn't deserve any criticism. He's been fantastic in like the macro sense. Dylan Dingler doesn't deserve any criticism. Kerry Carpenter doesn't deserve any criticism. And I understand people are going to say all stars are judged differently. He's having an all-star season. He's come through numerous times in recent games, including the first 2 games of the series. I don't understand why every single time he fails, it turns into like this referendum. And then, of course, in the chat, I'll let you go to saying Kool-Aid. It turns into, oh, he runs funny. He has no aura. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's just like, bro, that's why I keep saying, and I know I'm right. People think I'm a madman for this. They called me a madman. Shout out Spencer Rexter. Riley Green is not embraced in this town as much as he should be. He is loved conditionally. And those conditions are tough. It's 1 of 162. He had a bad game. The Tigers won anyway. Riley Green was the best offensive player in the previous 2 games and had numerous big games against the Cardinals, where he had 4 RBIs in a game. He had 3 RBIs in the games recently in which he's really, really come through. So just lay off of Riley Green. He'll be fine. He's having a great season.
He is, and ultimately, I think that's the lens that you have to look at this thing at. For me personally, it's about zooming out, but this is a symptom of, I think, just fandom in general. Until those teams win the playoffs or win in the championships, or at least show over a period of time that they are, contributing to their team, winning for long stretches of time, it gets difficult. Like, I've seen Detroit sports fans do this for a long time. There were criticisms that people had of Rip Hamilton for a long time after they traded Jerry Stackhouse from him. They were like, why would you trade Jerry Stackhouse, an established bucket, for a player that Michael Jordan didn't even want? And there was so many criticisms about players like him, about Ben Wallace, just to go back and to put it into perspective. And then those of us that remember the Tigers from 06 to 11 and 12, We remember some of the criticisms leading up. There was criticism held at players as big of a star as Justin Verlander, all the way down to certain players like V-Mart, and it seemed to be this symptom of these players being the lightning rod for when things don't go right. Because if he's not a star or a superstar in these moments, is he a star or a superstar when he is carrying the entire offense? And if he's doing that to the tune at a rate higher than other people, and contributing to your team at a rate higher than other people are doing that for their squads, we're talking about being like all your offense some games. That's where you live and you die with when this player needs the team to pick him up too. It's supposed to be a team game. And I see that some people are saying that maybe they were focusing in on just that one singular game. But for me, and just my perspective on how I at least view things, sometimes people will say, there's a Kool-Aid approach. You're being a little bit more biased. No, to me, I believe that when you win with your team's warts. You win with their imperfections. We already know what their weaknesses are. We already know how Riley Green is going to struggle when he's struggling. But we already know these components. When I've seen the Pistons win, when we saw the Red Wings win, when we see our teams up, it doesn't matter about who they are in their imperfections. It's about who they are to lift themselves above that. The work that they do to try and stave off some of these aspects of weaknesses, but ultimately who they are to the fact that now there's a premium on our team. The Tigers don't have this premium on them right now the same way they do if Riley Green's not a part of the recipe. And that's where I think it's difficult sometimes when these players aren't perfect for people to understand they're still a huge part of this recipe. Even if you think, oh, they haven't met the mark for this one particular game. There's never going to be a perfect player or a perfect recipe. It's about what this player it means overall to the success of this team, and Riley Green is a big portion of that pie.
He's a big portion of that pie, and just to respond to something from a Chuck Brewer before, I give even more numbers because y'all can have fun with numbers. Nobody has more fun with numbers than old Flannel Sam. Trust me. I'm a dork with that, but it also makes me me.
Do they get your big musket energy?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Every time LeBron James has a bad game, bad moment, he gets ripped, and folks argue he's in the GOAT chat. But Green is off limits? No. And here's the thing. I think nitpicking on LeBron is stupid when he has, like, a bad regular season game.
I'm going to do it.
Hey, and that's fine, but I'll at least be consistent. Yeah. And here's the thing, Chuck. I would ask you,
I only do it for LeBron James. Consistently.
That's all right. Is it okay for Riley Green to have one bad game? And I get it. He's had more than one. Like I said, he had a bad series against Cleveland, bad slump earlier. But is it okay when he's been the driving force of the offense in games 1 and 2 to have a bad game in game 3 in which your teammates pick you up, to not come through in a moment where he probably should have, but your team picks you up? That's what I'm talking about. It's Riley Green is having a fantastic season. For all of his imperfections, he is still on pace to be an all-star. I honestly think, barring a prolonged catastrophic slump, he will be in the all-star game for the second consecutive season, and the Detroit Tigers have the best record in the major leagues. And also, it's funny, too, because I hear a lot about Riley Green and how he can't come through in certain situations. Even when he's praised, he's called oralist, he runs funny. I saw some really, really stupid things in the heavyweights chat. Not from the heavyweights, but from the chat members. Let's take a look at some of these random OPSs on the season across Major League Baseball. Got that one, JB Smooth? Huh. Do you mean to tell me that Riley Green has a better OPS than Bobby Witt Jr. and Bryce Harper? What? No! Bobby Witt Jr. and Bryce Harper obviously have been better players in the past and have more of a resume, but this season, they're allowed to get off to a bit of a slow start. Do you think Phillies fans are knocking Bryce Harper every time he doesn't come through? Do you think Royals fans are knocking Bobby Witt every time he doesn't come through? Riley Green's got a better OPS than Vlad Jr., Francisco Lindor, Ellie De La Cruz, Gunnar Henderson, Juan Soto, and Mookie Betts. And oh, by the way, Riley Green has more home runs than anybody on that list, and Riley Green's team has a better record than any of these players' team, including Bryce Harper, whose team, the Philadelphia Phillies, is in a close second. And I honestly think, and I'm dead serious, and I'm not talking about you, I'm not talking about Justin or Chase or JB, I don't think people know this. I think people fixate on a couple of moments and just craft narratives in their head. And it just, honestly, to all of those people, you don't know ball, or you don't know baseball as a whole. You don't understand the ins and outs, the fact that it's a long season, or you just watch the Tigers. Because look at those numbers right there. All of those guys below him before the season, except for Ellie De La Cruz, in my opinion, were unquestioned superstars. And I'm not even saying Riley's a superstar yet, but this guy is putting up numbers, and the Tigers have the best record in baseball.
And as I, have been known to do, I will bring in Pistons into this conversation, but it's for one guy like Cade Cunningham who fits the same stipulation, as well as another person we're about to talk about in Aidan Hutchinson, who before the start of last season, there was just a little bit too much noise. I'm not going to say that there was a whole lot, but there was just a little bit too much noise and narrative, even from some big voices in this city about him. And so it's like, from a place that we know, we'll accept all the warts of our role players because we say how hard they are pushing. For a guy like Cade Cunningham to literally elevate his stats, elevate this team, Riley Green to elevate this team to playoffs, and to see these guys celebrated by the outside world for saying, hey, look at these players right here, but we can't just support these guys. Like, I often wonder, who are we if we do just get behind these players? Who are we if we do say we know that there's going to be some ups, we know that there's going to be some downs, but we do recognize the fact that you are a big part of the reason why we're winning. Like, to understand that there's still people out there who are criticizing people like Green, criticizing people like Cunningham to this point in their careers, seeing that they have provided and contributed some of the most hope we've had for these teams in what, decade?
Yeah.
I mean, how long for the Tigers now? How long for the Tigers since you guys have had real hope? How long?
Yeah.
Are we talking a real decade? Honestly, because at the tail end of Verlander and all those guys, we saw it getting broken down slowly before our eyes, and we knew the hope was dwindling, even if they still had a few more seasons that they could potentially contend. And so it's like, for me personally, I do, man. There used to be a portion of me that wanted it all today and right now. But now there is, as I've continued to watch how these teams have gone and trended, I do appreciate the fact that I'm seeing some of the players that we know are going to be amongst this. The league's great in the NBA. The league's great in Major League Baseball. The league's great in NFL. And hopefully the league's great in NHL. We're seeing those guys right before our eyes right now contributing in big ways. Sometimes it is worth supporting those guys, getting behind them, understanding that, you know what, they're going to get them next time. It just seems like a lot of that is starting to go missing from what used to be a part of the identity of Detroit sports and fandom.
Yeah, and I just want to respond to couple more comments, give you one more power stat, and then if anybody wants to respond, you guys can, and then we can move on to the Lions. Lunchbox, or as I like to call him right now, Dr. Dipshit, although you sure as fuck didn't get a PhD. This was just a Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay quote. Sam, Harper hitting 333 with runners in scoring position. Riley Green is hitting 120. Show them stats, Sam. Riley Green is hitting 234 with runners in scoring position. You fucking dipshit. Do a quick Google search. Do one quick Google search and stop lying to the audience. And I understand that 234 isn't good. It's not good. But accusing him of hitting 120 with runners in scoring position, have you watched a game this year? Or do you just fixate in on these little moments? 120 would make him unplayable. How do you become fourth in the American League in RBIs if you have a 120 average with runners in scoring position? Do the quickest Google search, my friend. The quickest Google search. I'm sure you won't. Obviously you won't. But that's all you got to do. It drives me so crazy, bro. And WeezyD313, he hasn't been walking all year, so IDK how that stat is real. And that's one thing I've been critical of him for.
That's the comment of Weezy's you saw?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
I know he has more. He was wilding out in the heavyweights chat, by the way. But and I will give you this. Riley Green's walk rate has actually disappointed me this year, and I've been consistent about that. He's had a better walk rate in years past, and I've always praised him for his strike zone discipline, and that's gone away a tad this year. But the reason why that stat is real and how you can quantify that it's real is because his batting average is high, and out of all those players on that list that I showed you, Riley Green has the most home runs out of any of them. And obviously OPS, hitting home runs, factors heavy in that stat because on base plus slugging.
Man, shout out. Flannel said he was going to stand on business for the players that he capes for, man. And Weezy D, he has another one for you. He said, Cade and picks for Hallie since we're all being so open-minded.
Well,
You know, he's just throwing a bunch of grenades into
was-
the chat for you right now.
He was wild and it out. And Chuck Brewer, for the last time, you can be critical of Riley Green. I just don't like when his failings are used as a referendum against him unnecessarily. I've been critical of Riley Green. Do you think that I just excused the Guardians series? Do you think that I just excused the 7 for 55 slump? No, I did not. I got so heartbroken and so worn down by a lot of you people in the chat that I even said the most regretful thing I've ever said on air. And I'm wearing the jersey because of it. I'm just saying that it's not a referendum. It's a long season.
Yes. You said a lot on air too.
I have, and I am way more regretful of the Riley Green thing than anybody. That was like a very like Shakespearean tragedy moment for me and Riley Green. But just one more stat for the people in the back, because people just aren't listening. People still are nitpicking everything. For a guy that doesn't come through, there's another power stat that I have right there, and it starts off with Riley Green, and then there's a gap. It's basically an RBI one with Riley Green, a gap, and then a bunch of other players. RBIs off of at-bats with runners on base. The reason that I worded it this way is this takes into account hits, sacrifice flies, RBI groundouts, all of that. Riley Green has 31 at-bats, or 31 RBIs with runners on base for somebody who never comes through, by the way. What that means is that 7 of his RBIs are solo home runs because he has 12 home runs and 38 RBIs. Look at RBIs total in that little pod right there. Bobby Witt Jr. 30, Fernando Tatis Jr. 28, Jose Ramirez 27, Manny Machado 25, Juan Soto 25, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 23, Gunnar Henderson 15. And if you want to talk about context and all of that, because I get it. Some of these guys bat higher up in the order. Sometimes their teammates don't get on in front of them as often as Riley Green's. The reason I want to post this is because it shows just how often Riley Green has come through in those situations. People just forget. A double to score someone from first base is just as good as a hit with runners in scoring position. He's had a couple of those lately. A 2-run home run with a guy on first base is just as good as a hit with runners in scoring position. That's why I bring this up, because people are literally act like, I see this on Twitter, I see this in the chat, that Riley Green with runners in scoring position, you might as well just pencil in an out. That's emotional, that's stupid, and you need to stop perpetuating that. A lot of you in the chat, and I understand that I'm going to sound like a hypocrite because of what I said and I'm currently repenting from. A lot of you in the chat are gatekept. Y'all are gatekept. All gatekept. All gatekept.
Sam is Peter, or is it Paul? I don't know who's at the gate with the book.
Well, how much sleep did you get last night? That was more Flannel Sam graphics than usual.
I got a decent. I mean, here, the Tigers.
My man was
bro,
researching.
the Tigers won. I'm happy as a clam. Like, overall, that's the most important thing, and that's what you guys should be happy about. You should be pro Colt Keith, pro Justin Henry Malloy,
Yes,
and just
that's it.
basically chalk it up to Riley Green had a bad game. He had 2 great ones before that, or 2 big games before that, and he'll bounce back in the Royals series. Does anybody have any doubt that Riley Green will have multiple hot streaks, oftentimes even carry the offense for games at a time? Anybody have any doubt about that?
They have fans
No.
have to believe. It's safe to believe. I know that Detroit sports has hurt us for a long time, but we're in that safe zone now where it is comfortable to believe. It is safe to support these players. Yes, our young players that we've been counting on for some time panning out. Some of those guys are panning out. Yes, go out and buy their jerseys. If you've been on the fence about Torque, go out and do it. If you've been on the fence about any of these guys, just support this team. It's that time now. It was interesting to see how many people were late to the party when the Pistons hit the playoffs. So many people late to the party, even though this entire season was a beautiful ride to be a part of. Seeing the people that were there, doing the fan content, having the boots on the ground, people in the building for the Slam cover night. JB Smooth, I know you were there. The opening day stuff that we do for the Tigers, being amongst the people for the Lions, even before they started getting going. But seeing how, as it got going, the enthusiasm from the people, it's like, what if we were this? Why can't we be this as fans of our Detroit teams that are now good? Of course, it ain't going to always be perfect. Of course, there's going to be some warts. But this is a time where I do believe, as a sports town, we can effectively write our own narrative as fans. We can get behind our players. We can have them wake up our best guys who we believe that there's still more to their potential and ceiling. Do all that we can from a perspective other than just investing our money, but also investing our fandom beyond just the parlay mindset.
Yes.
Like that's it, like get out of the parlay mindset, get out of your legs, get out of your bets, and get more into what has always been, the crux or the center of relationship between us and our players. And that is the fact that despite their warts, they're still going out there with our city across their chest, trying to help our team get that much closer to a World Series. And that to me is where it says, like, enjoy this. I've enjoyed, like, you guys know this, Flannel and JB and now Cavassier and Justin are stepping into this. How much did we enjoy opening day?
It was some of the best days of my life.
And it's like, that's what we need. That type of energy in this city right now. And would I tell you this 5 years ago? Hell no. No, I wouldn't. I would tell you, hey, look, let's just rock with these young players and see where they go. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys, throw your money into the ocean, go out there and buy the jerseys, go out there and act like this player isn't this, that, and the other. No. But when your teams are winning and when these players are making all-star teams and when these are the ones getting profiled by the national writers and they're stating that these guys and the stats are the big reasons why you're here, let's support them and give them the extra boost that we say our fandom has in the past. It's amazing how we'll take the credit for the 270 straight sellouts at the Palace. And how people say, now Dwayne Wade and others, it was so loud there.
Yeah.
Or Ford Field being a weapon. Let's do that for our teams and for our players. How much more can we contribute? And I think there's a lot more for us. To
yes. 2 more comments, and I promise we'll get to the football. I promise. But I got Gromit0237. I'm going to be calm about this because I think this is an objective fact. How about the number of players Green has left on base due to strikeouts? Power stat. First of all, you didn't give me a number, so it's not a power stat. Second of all, let me just give you this, Gromit. If the Tigers were a middle-of-the-pack team or a bad team and Riley Green wasn't top 5 in the American League in RBIs, that would matter a hell of a lot more. The Tigers are the best team in baseball. Riley Green is 4th in the American League in RBIs, above a lot of players who a lot of us, including myself, would probably still consider better than Riley Green. So that's why that matters more than what you have to say. And Wheezy D313, Torque Bro Supreme, king of the false equivalencies. Tried to be consistent, being mean to RG because you've previously been mean to Torque. Wheezy D313. Spencer Torkelson deserved criticism for last year. That's my problem with you, bro, is that Spencer Torkelson was morbid last year. Morbid. So morbid he got sent to the minors. And I understand that doesn't matter now, but his OPS was 669 last year. It was barely above 600 when he got sent to the minors. Conversely, you've never heard me say one bad thing about Spencer Torkelson this year, even when he's gone on mini slumps.
We've
because
all been lenient.
Yes,
we've all believed, he's a different player.
Yes, because he has earned it with his play. He's been fantastic. Even though his batting average is a little low, I've never nitpicked it because he makes the most of his hits and he walks all of the time. But Spencer Torkelson deserved criticism last year. Riley Green, in the macro level of his game, I think he deserves criticism for being a little injury prone earlier in his career, and you can say that he could have performed better in the playoffs. To me, that's it. He was an all-star last year, and barring a catastrophic slump, an all-star on a playoff team last year, and this year, barring a catastrophic slump, will be an all-star again on a playoff team again.
Gatekeeper Flannel Sam.
And I'm actually not going to follow through with that. I actually want you guys to give Riley his praise. I just want you to not make everything a referendum when he fails, because everybody fails, and I get it. A lot of Riley Green's clutch numbers this year aren't as good as they were previously, and he's obviously failed yesterday and failed several times against Cleveland, but he's also come through a lot. If Riley Green wasn't on this team, the Tigers would probably be, I would say, fighting for a wild card at best.
I think John F. and Lord made a typo, but I'm going to read it as is. He says, shout out to John F. and Lord, one of our OGs. He says, Flannel, you nitpick a lot of people. LOL what?
I don't think I do.
I'm sure he meant nitpick, but if he meant nitpick, you're sending those out to people?
See, I don't think I nitpick at all. Like, I know you're going to talk about Jameson Williams, but I wore the jersey for his 1,000-yard season. I haven't said shit about him except when people try to put him in, like, Justin Jefferson conversations. That's where I draw the line. But Jameson Williams, bravo. 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 Riley Green, it should be Riley Green, bravo. I think everybody's going to disagree with this, but I think I'm the most fair person in this city when it comes to fairness. But hey, that's for your guys' interpretation.
I'm not gonna ask Bill Wallace all the favor. No. And intern Ryan, stop it. Kate or Halliburton, stop it. Stop it. Let's say what up, though.
Well, Wheezy D313 is more in love with Jaden Ivey than I am with Riley Green. That's where that all stems from.
I will say this,
and you'll admit it in the chat too, by the way, bro, because we can kumbaya over some things. Just admit it. I just admitted I was in love with Riley Green. I've admitted many times that I have an emotional attachment to him, and I think he gets treated unfair. Just admit it about Jaden Ivey. That's all you got to do. You will.
Oh, Don, goodness gracious! I'll see some people in the chat. Now this chat is on fire. Shout out to Crash Out Flannel. Broder says, baseball is a game of failure. Shout out to our brother Broder. He says those who separate themselves from the rest of the pack are the ones that will have long, successful careers. A batter who fails 70% of the time can walk straight to the Hall of Fame. And then also says good morning. Shout out to Broder,
yes,
man.
Thank you, Broder. That's where. And shout out to Kool-Aid and Justin and everybody in this chat. But, this is where I think Broder is needed. He might not have defended Riley Green as vociferously as I have, but baseball is, you're going to fail more often than you succeed. And when I give you the actual season numbers.
High level. He knows what he's talking about.
Yes. And when you look at the season numbers and just the success that the Tigers are having, Riley Green should be one of the most beloved athletes in the city. He should get a pass for a bad game 3. And that's where I make the distinction. Not a bad series, not a bad slump, but in this case, it was just a bad game in which Justin Henry Malloy picked him up anyway. We should be over the moon about J-Hen, and I think we are to some extent, but that's where I think it should end. Be over the moon about J-Hen, be over the moon about Colt Keith, because, by the way, he wasn't very good. He was terrible in April and March, or April and May last year. He turned it on in June. Colt Keith, not saying he was terrible this year so far, but he's been a little disappointing in April and March, but June is when he thrives. He seems to be a bit of a slow starter, and that's not a problem at all. I suspect Colt Keith's numbers will be looking pretty damn good at the end of the year as well, and his on-base percentage been consistent with that. Shout out Colt Keith, walking machine.
Walking machine.
Gleyber Torres, walking machine. Spencer Torkelson, walking machine.
They're getting it done, man. And I want people to be able to better enjoy this. I loved all the vibes around once we knew our Pistons team was it. I remember the vibes around it. Even though 2005 didn't end the way that we wanted it to, people weren't criticizing them for the warts. Even before the championship in 2004, there were definitely things that people wanted better, but they largely stemmed around what this team was going to do from the coaching position, and you could see it in how many coaches they had in a short span during that era. But I remember how it was even for the Tigers when they got rolling. They got to the point where we understood and we accepted who they were as players, and we were going to ride that roller coaster because we knew every year our team was going to be one of the best teams in baseball, and our team had an opportunity to go and represent us well in the World Series. And it created these great memories. It's like, why be out there and be pent up in the frustrations? I'm happy to know this is how we started the season. What was one of the biggest things we wanted to see? Is how this squad responded to adversity. Do you let the wheels just fall off, or are you a team that can go out there no matter if it's your star or not? What was one of my main bullet points of that? Will this team be able to pick up Riley Green and Scoobs, who we know in their best, which is a lot of games, they're going to go out there and literally pick this team up. Literally, whether it's shutting down another team from scoring runs or getting a lot of hits, or if it's Riley Green going, which is awkward. It's interesting. We've seen this guy now go in 2 recent games and be the offense. And before that, we can go through the stats, we can go through the games and see there's more of those games. That's just the point. His peaks are better than a lot of others' peaks. His valleys are going to be shorter than other people's and less consequential, less impactful. That's what you want. If his valleys were things that cratered the Tigers, that's where I would actually be more in line with going against it. But because we see that if his slumps, we talk about what a person does to contribute to winning. If their slumps are contributing to this team being absolutely destitute, that's where you go when you have those types of criticisms. But because we see not even at his optimal best, just when he's playing good, this team is really, really good. And if he's off his game a little bit, guess what? This team is still good. That's where you want to be at with your best players, especially when you understand they're not going to be perfect every single night.
Yep, mic drop on that. And I think people are probably have had enough of Riley Green and Flannel Sam, but you're probably going to get more as time goes on. But let's TLB, because PFF came out with a list a few days ago in which it listed the top 32 edge rushers in the NFL. Where does Aidan Hutchinson rank on this list? Is it a fair ranking? Find out on the other side of the break.
Hey, let's rock, man. And let me tell you guys, I'm going to double up here too, JB Smooth. Tell the people about Lady James and one Dr. Pierce. Guys, let's be honest, we like simple stuff. Like gimmies on the golf course. We like uncomplicated, like supporting our all-stars. Like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, sign in, and before you know it, you're handsome and clean. Lady Jane's open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. And attention sports fans, I know that it is all of you out there. Don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday on Big D Energy, every Thursday on Ermanni Edwards, which is today, where he's offering, top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that DMAC does. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasta salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like DMAC. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsAndSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. Woodwardsports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. Woodwardsports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at Woodwardsports.com.
Justin here to talk to you about Mad Packs. Mad Packs is the hottest new brand, and they're partnering with Woodward Sports. Products launching on May 30th. That's tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Mad Packs is going to take your game to the next level. High, low, getting you high for the low. Delivering top-tier quality at unbeatable prices. Boom! Shakalaka!
Boom! Shakalaka!
Boom! Shakalaka is a live resin-infused tarantula, and this one is the bomb! No Osama. Blizzard Packs, THCA, Moonrocks, hit like a blizzard. Coming to a select retailer on May 30th, 2025. Stay tuned with Woodward Sports Network and all of the latest updates.
Shout out to Kavasi Chase.
I'm here with Jake Bates, Lions kicker. Who is your starting five if you were making it out of Detroit Lions players?
All right, my starting five, backcourt. We're going to go TA and Kirby. We're going to be able to spread the floor a little bit with some speed. We're going to have J-Mo at the three. Saw him dunk over the uprights or over the crossbar at one of our games this year, so we're going to throw him out there.
He's going to be a hell of a rim runner with that athleticism.
Yeah, and then down low we're going to have two bigger guys that control the paint. We're going to go Panay and Dan Skipper.
I would not want to go in there and finish a layup, I can tell you that.
Absolutely. That's the winning roster.
Hey, shout out.
Shout out, man. Welcome back. It's Wake Up Woodward. And it's awesome to see Woodward Sports continuing to just grow and be able to provide boots on the ground coverage, not just our opinions on things, but also analysis and boots on the ground coverage, and bringing you guys, you know what, behind the scenes and exclusive content. So shout out to that dude, Justin. I know Fast and Loose is going to have boots on the ground too during and throughout the Grand Prix weekend. And you know what, it's going to be an awesome time. I can't wait to be out there. I know we're going to be doing a live broadcast from there Sunday. So we'll start the Lions show here. We'll zip on down while that's going on. We'll set up in the media room. We'll have different reporters in different areas of the freaking city, because Detroit will be our backdrop for this. We're going to break down a little bit of some of the professionalism of the set, and we just want to be amongst the drivers. We want to be amongst the exhibits. We want to be amongst the cars, and we're going to be amongst the fans. I can't wait.
Hey, that is going to be awesome. And just one last thing.
Shout out, Justin.
RJ Graham just had enough of Flannel Sam. We can keep Riley Green. I will sacrifice myself for Riley Green. Not in terms of dead, but in terms of if you could only keep one, I would let you guys keep Riley Green over me. But hopefully we can both be here for a very, very long time. So, Lions, baby. Shout out Ryan Ermanni. Hopefully we kumbaya over this just a little bit more. Pro Football Focus came out with a list of the top 32 edge rushers coming into the 2025 season. Does anybody care to guess where Aidan Hutchinson is? I'll let you guys have a quick guess.
Aidan Hutchinson?
Top 32 edge rushers going into the 2025 season, according to PFF.
According to PFF. They've been nice to him. And if I had to guess, I would assume he's a guy that is... How much do they take into effect like last year? Are they just assuming he's going to be that guy this year and no injury?
I mean, I don't want to give you a hint. With all due respect.
Then, obviously, I would say top 5. I would put him top 3.
Okay. Justin, where do you think Aidan Hutchinson ranks on the PFF top 32 edge rushers?
I think it's going to be 6.
Okay.
Even though I think it should be higher.
Chase?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking around the same thing as Justin. Probably like top 6, top
JB,
8.
you already know.
I kind of already know the answer, so
I'd love to ask you, but you already know. But show us Aidan Hutchinson's write-up, and it also shows what number he's ranked in the top 32 PFF edge rushers going into the 2025 season. 5.
Number 5. All right.
And I'll just read this for anybody who is audio only. Hutchinson was on pace for a historic season before suffering a fractured tibia and fibula injuries against Dallas in Week 6. The Pro Bowl edge defender was in a league of his own, recording 72 pass rush wins, the most ever by a defensive player in the PFF era through the first 6 weeks of a season. Remarkably, he accomplished the feat in just 5 games as Detroit had a bye in Week 5. Heading into this season, Hutchinson will be a popular Defensive Player of the Year candidate for the division favorite Detroit Lions. And before I get you guys' opinion on this, because you saw he's 5, you saw the write-up, I just made a quick list of who the top 10 was, just so we have a gauge. If you got that one, JB Smooth, who he's behind, who he is slightly in front of. Number 1, Myles Garrett. 2, Micah Parsons. 3, TJ Watt. 4, Nick Bosa. 5, you already know, Aiden. 6, Max Crosby. 7, Trey Hendrickson. 8, Jared Verse. 9, Will Anderson Jr. 10, Khalil Mack.
I can't be mad at it.
Okay. Fair enough.
I still would probably put them a little higher, but especially with where they started with their article with the injury, because I didn't see it. I knew we were going to talk about it, but I was like, all right, let me save it. I can understand why they would have him here. Do I expect Aidan Hutchinson, based on where they're going to have this list at the end of the year, to be higher? I do, but that's a great list of edge rushers. I don't ever want to be short-sighted about that. I know that there's a lot of Kool-Aid I will always drink when it comes to our guys that deserve it. But when you look at this list and you see Aidan Hutchinson amongst these players, despite the injury, this is where it's like, all right, you're right in the middle of this top 10. He's going to have a big say-so in moving up this list, and I do believe he's going to.
And Justin, you predicted 6. Are you okay with Aidan being 5th when you see who's in front of him and slightly behind him?
I don't think that Nick Bosa deserves to be above him. I think Max Crosby does, but that's just really nitpicking. I think 5 is the perfect spot for him. I think that I expected both Bosa and Crosby to be above him. And even Hendrickson too, honestly. But I think that this is a good spot for him. I think him and Trey Henderson should be 5 and 6 with Bosa at 7 and Max Crosby at 4.
I think you're shortchanging Bosa a little bit, but I'm not going to kill you for it. His sack numbers have been a little low in the past couple of years. Chase,
he's not as dynamic as he has been the last couple of years.
I get it. 2021 and 2022, he was probably the best in the world. He's fallen off a little bit.
People have umbrage with Parsons being above a lot of players on this list.
See, I think Micah Parsons is one of the most overhated athletes by Detroit sports fans. I know he said some things that you don't like about the city. I know that people,
F him, man. You know,
I know. I know people like Maz opine for him still, and people like even myself glaze him all the time because I think he's such a great player. But I'll say this about Micah Parsons, why I have no problem with him being 2 personally before I throw it over to the other guys. In his first 4 seasons, he has more sacks in his first 4 seasons than anybody on this list. There's a couple of like all-time greats ahead of him, like J.J. Watt and a Reggie White, for example. But Micah Parsons has had an absolutely torrid pace. His first 2 seasons, he was 2nd in Defensive Player of the Year voting. His 3rd season, he was 3rd. And last year, he had 12 sacks in 13 games. I understand he could be better against the run, and that's a fair criticism, although I think people take it too far. But Micah Parsons, to me, stylistically, and just watching him and looking at the numbers, he's Lawrence Taylor-esque, but he's 90% of Lawrence Taylor to me. And I don't think that's crazy.
Well, who do you think he's properly ranked above Aidan Hutchinson? Because it is a good conversation. I understand it, but goodness gracious, man. Because a lot of people believe that there's a case for Watt and potentially Parsons to be ranked below Hutchinson.
I disagree with that because of the injury, unfortunately. And this is where I, in my heart of hearts, can believe that when it's all said and done this year that Aidan Hutchinson could be one. I could believe in my heart of hearts that if he would have been healthy last year and won Defensive Player of the Year that he would be number 1. But unfortunately, he only played 5 games last year. And there's a lot of – and I understand his production in those 5 games was all-time great at an all-time great pace, but we're still waiting for that season-to-season Defensive Player of the Year caliber season. And I think that there's just a lot of good edge-rushing talent in the NFL. So even me, the biggest Hutch slappy probably in the building, am okay with him being at 5.
Which, that actually surprised me. I thought I would have heard you say you want to see him a little bit higher on this list. And I'm going to ask you, also prepare your answers, where do you believe he will be at the end of this? And obviously it's just about projections and what you think the talent he has, what the Lions have around him and the expectations and such. I do believe he's going to have an opportunity to move up, but the chat family, man, they're not feeling Parsons, bro.
Yeah, people just hate Micah Parsons.
Yeah, Eric Allen, I do not believe Parsons belongs at 2. He should be around 7 or 8.
See, that's insane. You can say 5, but 7 or 8, that's Jared versus fucking 8. Come on, bro. Come on. I don't want to have to put on my cape for Micah Parsons, but you guys act like he's just a run-of-the-mill good edge rusher. The dude's dynamic. He's great.
Stephen Baffy, more like overrated. He got owned by Sewell. Parsons is all finesse and speed. There was no power to his game. I would rather have Will Anderson than Parsons. Parsons depends on scheme and help.
Bro. That's so dumb, with all due respect. If you want to talk about having a couple more years on the rookie contract, I can listen to that. But, okay, he got owned by Penei Sewell. Ooh. Penei Sewell's the best O-lineman in the game, and I'm happy that Penei Sewell has had Micah Parsons' number. But you guys, the disrespect towards Micah Parsons to me is just insane. Like I said, if you want to swap Watt and put him at 2, or I'm much higher on Bosa than you, for the record, Justin. If you want to put Bosa over Parsons, I'm not mad at that. But putting him any lower than 4 or 5 to me is just
Stephen Bassey, he said, look, you put Hutch against Sewell, and he will win some reps. Parsons is not winning many, if any at all. This is not equal comparison. It's apples to oranges. People are actually more hot about this, man. I want to know where people – you tell us where you believe Hutch should be ranked, and those players that you think is disrespectful to rank him behind. Because it is an interesting one here, man. I didn't think that – I know, obviously, Parsons, that's a lightning rod word here. And I guess put them at 2. I don't know necessarily the metrics that Planet Fitness, Pro Football, utilized in making the ranking. But this is one that by the end of the year, I see R.J. Graham. He already put what he believes Miles, Watt, Hutch at 3, and then he has Parsons and then Bosa. I do believe that by the end of the year, it's going to be something more where we see Hutch in that top 3.
Yes,
I really do. Amongst your best, obviously Garrett is somebody that I expect to be there, but it's going to be interesting to see if Hutch finds himself being able to really have a shot at that number 1. And you look at the talent, you look at this pace he got off to last year, And you're right. The only question for me is not his work ethic. The only question for me is not his talent. The only question realistically is how quickly is he going to be back to what we know him to be? Because you still have to get back in the game shape, period. No matter how healed he is, no matter how healthy he is, there's still a certain aspect of game shape that he's going to have to get back into.
Yeah, and I fully am in agreement that by next year's list, you could have Aidan Hutchinson at number 1. You just have to chalk it up, in my opinion, to injuries robbed him of a special season. And boy, was he special in those 5 games. And I'm not discounting that. I truly believe that he would have won Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know if he necessarily would have broken the sack record, but he had a couple of games against Caleb Williams and CJ Stroud, or 3 against those 2 teams combined, and they were the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL. So I'm not necessarily putting that against him, but at the end of the day, these are guys in front of him who are still playing at a high level, who all of them except for Micah Parsons have won at least a Defensive Player of the Year award. I think they've each won 1, and then when it comes to Micah Parsons, he's finished twice. He's finished second twice and third once. And this is not Aidan Hutchinson hate. I'm cool, for the record, I am more than cool with him being ranked ahead of Max Crosby. And I think PFF, the write-up, actually is pretty fair to Crosby because he was obviously dynamic and phenomenal and still is, but Crosby had a down year by his standards in 2024, partly due to the ankle injury suffered in Week 2 against Baltimore. Yes, he did play hurt, and he did get surgery in the offseason. That lingered throughout the season, ultimately required surgery. His 74.3 PFF grade and 54 total pressures, which, by the way, are not elite numbers, by the way. Not bad, but not elite, were his lowest marks since 2020. However, considering his previous 3-year stretch, during which he never graded below 90.1 overall and averaged 94 pressures per season, a bounce-back campaign seems well within reach for the former All-Pro. And that's what – and also – Max Crosby, he's never finished top 3 in a Defensive Player of the Year voting. Neither has Hutch, by the way, but
it's on the way.
Yeah, it's absolutely on the way. It could be for both of them, but that's where I put Hutch's last season and even the year before, just slightly above what Max Crosby has done. Although I can't kill you if you'd rather have Crosby than Hutch on this list.
We do have some more rankings here. Dante151, shout out to Dante. He says it should have been Miles, Hendrickson, Crosby, Hutchinson, and then Parsons. Trill and Spill, Garrett, Hutch, Hendrickson, and Parsons. All the lists that's gonna be your recurring theme. That Parsons is behind Hutchinson, and that's probably the biggest point of contention. I've seen a lot of people who largely are okay with where Hutch is ranked, but they do believe that Parsons is somebody that probably shouldn't be ranked ahead of him. So.
And for the record, Trey Hendrickson is a very difficult one for me to really grade because he's been the sack master of the NFL the last couple of years. He just has. And he's done it on a defensive line where, he's had some talent on it. Obviously, a couple of years ago, he had DJ Reader. He's had like Sam Hubbard, for example, BJ Hill. But he's really been the man on that D-line. It's just, to me, when I watch Trey Hendrickson play, when I see how he is against the run, I don't think he's as good as those 6 guys ahead of him, but I also can't blame you if you want to put him higher because I'm a numbers guy, and Trey Hendrickson, when it comes to numbers, when it comes to even pressures and win rate, he's lighting the world on fire. He's phenomenal. He's making like a Hall of Fame case with his last couple of years, honestly. Shout out Trey Hendrickson. If you want to put him higher than 7, go for it. I wouldn't, but I can't be mad at you for it.
Shout out that dude. I don't know if you're busy, man, but hey, what do you think, man? This Parsons, this Hutch thing, is it overblown? Is there something more to this that people should see? It is a point of contention. And even for me, I'm sitting here like, I do. I probably would put him over there. If you're taking the injury into effect, that's why I said, you know what? 5 is fair, but me personally, I would have Hutch top 3.
I think there's a lot of fairness to having Hutch in your top 3. I don't think that that's biased or anything, but I do think that Micah Parsons deserves the nod in terms of those 2 players. When you saw Micah Parsons go out for the Cowboys last year, their defense was abysmal, even worse than how the Lions was without Hutch. And I think that just is a testament to how good Micah Parsons is, how much he demands the attention of an offense, and he is just such a factor. And it's the versatility as well. Like Hutch is an edge, but they move Micah all over the line and even line him out as an outside linebacker sometimes. So I think that he just has a skill set that Hutch doesn't have yet. Hutch could, become a better run defender than Micah, but right now Micah has that nod, and I think that it's close. It's close. I think the injury is kind of where it lies, though.
Yeah, and if by the end of the season, I'll make a prediction. Next year's list, Hutch will be above Micah Parsons, but it's not because Parsons is bad or is overrated. It's because I think Hutch will prove to be a little bit better. And at the end of the day, obviously, we're happy with the Penei Sewell pick, and a lot of people don't like Parsons, I think, because some people still opine after him. Penei Sewell and Micah Parsons are going to the same Hall of Fame when it's all said and done. Penei, I think, is going to be a better all-time tackle than Parsons is an all-time edge rusher, but they're both going to the Hall. They're both great. Thankful for Penei Sewell. Unfortunately, the Cowboys haven't done a whole lot in terms of success with Micah Parsons, but it's far from his fault. Chase, Hutch at 5. Hutch at 5, what do you think? Any other problems with the top 5, top 10?
No, I mean, I think those are the top 5, and how you want to order them is just kind of going to vary depending on the individual. I'm not going to get all twisted up and like upset about it. I mean, like I said, he's coming back injured. I think by the end of the year, if you want to remake the list, he'll end up climbing his way up into the top 3, top 2 probably, and maybe have a strong case to be the number 1 edge rusher on the list. So going into this season, the fact that he's still considered top 5 is, I'm happy to see that the injury hasn't taken too much away from him in people's eyes, and I think once he's back healthy, people will be reminded again how good he is.
I think that's an interesting one because I'm seeing people who are pushing back in the chat. Chuckle Cheese Parsons is not as good as Hutchinson, period. But Steve-O Baby, he submits his list. He says, my list goes Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Michael Parsons, and then Hutch, as long as neither one of them gets injured.
See, and this is where I have to push back a little bit. And Max Crosby's phenomenal, but I think Max Crosby at 2 and TJ Watt not being in your top 4 is a little crazy to me. But at the end of the day, I think what this list also shows is that, and this is just my opinion, if you guys disagree, feel free. There are 7 that are clearly in a different tier than the rest of the league. When you look at that top 7, it's just like the dudes of the dudes, and then 8 is Jared Verse. And I don't think Jared Verse should be 8, by the way, but that just kind of speaks to there's a lot of talent, and then there's a bit of a drop-off. And no disrespect to Jared Verse's phenomenal regular season, but I personally would take Hutch's rookie season over Verse's. The one that Hutch had versus the one that Verse had. Verse had a lot more help on the D-line, and his sack numbers were not as good. His pressure numbers great. Overall as a D-end great. Playoffs, fantastic. Still think 8's very high. He's the next after Trey Hendrickson. Come on now. Come on. Shout out to Jared Verse. You're fantastic, but pay some more dues.
Nick Cunningham in the chat. Y'all are wild. Parsons is way better than Hutch. Q-Ball 93. Hutch shouldn't even be on the top 10. He has to prove he can do it again.
That's
insane.
This coming that's insane.
Do we have to ask the people? I almost feel like that's a layup. Hey, Hutch or Parsons. I know what Detroit fans, I thought I knew what they would say, but I'm seeing some other stuff here right now.
Say it in the chat, Q-Ball. Who should be higher on the list? Aidan Hutchinson or Jared Verse? Don't do it. Don't do it, Q-Ball. Don't do it. I know you're thinking about it. Don't do it. Let that perspective wash over you. And don't be too prideful to put Jared Verse over Aidan Hutchinson, because that's basically what you're saying, is that Aidan Hutchinson should be below Jared Verse on this list, which is a bird brain take.
We got a couple more top 5s, too. Keitho, Garrett, Watt, Hutch, Bosa, and Parsons. Stephen Baffey, Garrett, Watt, Hutch, Bosa, Crosby. And then he finishes out his top 10. Hendrickson, Verse, Anderson, Parsons, and Mack.
Parsons at 9 after Verse.
Wow.
That's hate, man. Like I said, if you want to put Parsons in the top 5 at 5, I'll disagree, but I'll live with it. But Parsons at 9 is just, it's so clouded by hate and so insane that I can't even share this space with you. I will share this space. I won't block you because I'm not an idiot, but come on now. Come on now. Let the hate out of your heart, brother.
Voice of reason, JB Smooth. I've heard you over there, man. You've been given the ad-libs and everything, but make sense of this list for us. I know you do have the chat poll going on right now, so chat family, make sure you get in there and make your feelings heard. If you don't think that he should be at 5th, where do you think he should be? 4th, 3rd, 2nd, or 1st? Right now, 42% of the chat is saying 4th. And smash that like button when you get an opportunity to. But JB Smooth, what about you, Voice of Reason? Make sense of all this.
I mean, I kind of got to agree with the chat as well, too. I would definitely bump Aidan up to 4th on this list. It's not a terrible list. All the guys on here are very respectable names. If anything, I'd probably be like Justin, just nitpick just a little bit. I would probably, as I said, bump Aidan to 4, and then flip-flop Max Crosby and Nick Bosa. That's probably my only gripe, but once again, I'm just nitpicking of the players that I see fit over Nick Bosa, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Bosa, he doesn't have the counting stats that a lot of these guys, honestly, on a game-for-game basis, at least in the top 5, have had recently, but I still think that he's been very, very good. He's gotten consistent pressure. His TFL and QB hit numbers are high. That's why I still am okay with him being above Hutch. But I'm more confident that when this list comes out this next year that Hutch will be above Nick Bosa with no question than even above like Micah Parsons with a no question. I think Nick Bosa is the next one that Hutch leapfrogs, and it's damn near the consensus.
Dope. And you got him at that 5 firm?
I got him at. I think this is the perfect spot for Aidan Hutchinson, just because, unfortunately, injuries robbed him in so many ways. They robbed him. They robbed the Lions. They robbed us fans. It's just sometimes you have to deal with what is, and I'm living in the consequences of it. Do you really think that I want to come in here and say Hutch at 5 is fine, or do you think I want to come in here, shirt off, pants off, hard, talking about Hutch at number 1? Obviously the latter.
A lot of big muscular energy
Obviously
today.
the latter, but I gotta put on my analyst hat too. Yeah,
Until baseball season's over, you just got to say Riley green jersey on.
that's
buttons.
fair. Yeah, that's absolutely true. I'd have to double up if I want a Hutch jersey before baseball season is over. I mean, it's like porn to me. Thank you, JB.
Jordan from
Ultimate
Ibai.
sniper.
He says Garrett, Watt, Parsons, Crosby, and Hutch. Hutch can move up over all of them, but we're gonna have to see it.
Weezy D313, Hutch will be 1 and Dav will be 8 by the end of the year. Hey, Weezy, if that happens, if that doesn't happen, see, here's my problem, Weezy D313. You like to throw in a lot of those victory laps, but if this doesn't happen, I will find you and I will clown you.
Good luck.
I hope you're right, but
I will find you.
I saw you in the chat
know who
yesterday
you are.
victory lapping Killian Hayes, which I think is just insane. Come on, Dav is not 8.
Skills I've acquired
If
over
Dav
certain
can be, or Big Dav as you call him affectionately, if he can be top 32, I will do
I don't
backflips.
know who you are. I don't know where you are.
He'd probably take Davenport over Parsons
I
right
will
now.
find you.
Do you hear Kavasi?
Good luck.
Dog, man, I remember the first day Flannel did that, man. I was cracking up. That was one of the clips. I was literally clipping. I was like, no, that's going on something, man. Or putting the clips together. But, a lot of good talk for these teams, and it is because of shout out to Mike G. All of them are percolating. And with the Lions, I know there was another name on that list too. But let's say what I've done to some friends.
And you know what? Let's table that because
table
I
that
think
one?
we can. There's another name on this list that we will get to tomorrow, which he's not technically a Lion, but it's not as simple as that. But that's for tomorrow's show. We've got lots of TLB tomorrow. I promise. I promise I won't glaze Riley Green too much tomorrow. But that means we have time for what's trending. If you are still have that in the hopper, JB Smooth.
Oh yeah, that's no
Absolutely.
problem.
But let's take a break first.
All right, we need to hear from Jars and Les Stanford. So I'll take it away with Jars because Woodward sports fans, whether you're hitting the game or simply chilling at home, Jars Cannabis has you covered. Jars is home to Michigan's largest line of recreational cannabis products, 27 locations across the state, 9 alone in Metro Detroit. But don't fear, because if you live in Grand Rapids, Madison Heights, or Milan, Michigan, stores are popping up your way very, very soon. Shout out to Kool-Aid. If you don't have time to check out their products in store, check them out online at jarscannabis.com or look up their Instagram at @jars_life, because I know what? You want to get high.
A Cadillac Buick GMC. You can lease a 2025 Sierra for $169 per month, a 2025 Hummer for $699 per month, or a 2025 Envision for $259 per month. It is Les Stanford in Michigan.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
The boys of summer are here, and Woodward Sports is all over the Motor City with the White Claw Tigers Tour. Come party with Woodward Sports, watch the Tigers, and sip on some White Claw all summer long. The best bars, big giveaways, live events, and a party that only Woodward Sports can throw. Ain't no party like a Woodward Sports party. Join us Friday, June 13th from 5 to 7 with the heavyweights at Nemo's in Corktown for the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw and Ven Johnson.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White and Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesales.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
And you know where you got that money to buy that house? Betting on Caesars Sportsbook. Scan that QR code on screen, use code word Woodward1000, deposit up to $1,000, but all you have to do is place a minimum of a $20 bet. And if it doesn't hit, Caesars will throw it right back into your account with no questions asked. So you know what? If you bet on the Wolves last night, that 20 is right back in your account because that game was terrible. Scan the QR code on screen, use code word Woodward1000, and make some money tonight.
Flannel, you got the chat in just a mood. Greg, I see your last comment, dog. You really working hard to keep that #2 crown and probably try to get to #1. Do y'all see his last chat? His last comment? I don't know what's
guys,
over the
guys.
chat.
I
What
said
in the world?
I said hard. I said hard.
I thought you said farts.
I said hard,
It
bro.
is taking over the chat.
I said hard. Did it sound like I said the other thing?
Well, whatever it is, it's taking over, dog.
Sit hard, everybody.
Did it sound like I said hard?
So, it's Wake Up Woodward, man.
Whatever, bro.
Whatever
gets the people going.
With the whole crew, man. Hey, just continue. Oh my gosh, I can't even look at the chat no more.
Yeah,
it's time for
get
everybody's
wild.
favorite segment. I toss it over to you, JV Smooth.
Let's do it.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
JV Smooth.
This chat is wild over here. But shout out to everyone dropping this hidden chat right now. I got to start off with this. Shout out to intern Ryan for showing me this as well yesterday when we were out at the following event. Colt Keith came out with his top 100 movies that he likes, and these are some notable names.
100?
Yeah.
Okay, Colt.
These
Movie
are some
buff Colt.
notable names. Let me know if these would actually make your guys' list. So he had Prisoners at #1. The movie Seven at #2. Nightcrawlers at 3. The Django Unchained, which is fair. No Country for Old Men at 5. Inception at 12. Shawshank 13. 300 at 21. Silence of the Lambs 25.
Wow.
Pulp Fiction 37. Moneyball, Flannel, I know you're a favorite of that one.
One of my
at
favorites,
44. Step Brothers at 59. Superbad
Let's go.
at 63. Wolf of Wall Street 83. Holes, which is a Disney classic, 87,
Hey, I
and
love
Four Brothers at
I probably
100.
have that a little higher, but I love Four Brothers.
I was gonna say, like, some of his ordering I disagree with, but I can tell that he's like a legit movie buff. Inception, loves. Shawshank, love. Moneyball, one of my favorites, along with Shawshank and Inception, by the way. Wolf of Wall Street, love. Superbad, Step Brothers. Nightcrawler was really, really good.
Nightcrawler's phenomenal.
It is. I wouldn't put it at 3, but Jake Gyllenhaal is a very creepy character, but he's damn good at it.
Grabbing you by your ears and screaming in your face. I'm not fucking interested.
Oh yeah,
He's so good,
dude.
man.
Jake Gyllenhaal kills in that movie. But yeah, you're a real movie buff, Colt Keith. This isn't just like this is a cultured man's list. This isn't like an uncultured swine list.
What's
so
in the box?
So Colt Keith, man.
You're in the fucking box.
You're going up higher you're going up higher on my favorite Tigers list because of this list. Shout out Colt Keith.
Yeah, and I love the movie Inception, one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
But you know, for the uncultured, one of my all-time 100, Grandma's Boy. I'm sorry, I'm a Nick Swartzen simp, man. I love the movie Grandma's Boy. It lives like rent free in my head, bro.
I disagree.
What is that?
But
come on, Flannel.
As long as it's not in like your top 10.
No, it wouldn't be in my top 10, but I would have it
Okay.
probably in my top 70.
70.
In my top 70.
All right, fine.
Yeah,
we all have those like movies that are not great, but we
that movie
it's
is
fair,
great.
it's fair.
You watch your mom. So no.
Yeah, Who Farted? No Country for Old Men, so damn good. Javier Bardem, one of the greatest villains in movie history, just terrifying.
Let's
terrifying.
go, Dante.
Yeah.
Yes, Kool-Aid. Grandma's Boy is awesome. Grandma's Boy is in my top 10 comedies. Eric Allen. There we go, my Grandma's Boy fans. Let's rock, man.
Hey, shout out.
Man,
hey, teach their own.
Shout out to Colt Keith. This list is pretty nice. I like a lot of the movies on this list as well too. Some of the ordering needs to be changed, but I do like a lot of the names on this list. You guys, it has finally happened. It has finally happened. All those times of creative players, now there is one in real life, and I know we all love Key and Peele's All-Star player announcement. Arizona State wide receiver Montana Lemonicious Craig has signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is an actual real person and someone that they portrayed on Key and Peele for their football all-star lineup. He's actually a real person, and he will be playing in the NFL. What do we think about this? It's a real person.
How did this happen? Wait, life is imitating art?
I guess so. Yeah.
How?
That's insane. That's like
Lemonicious Craig.
I don't even know what to say.
Play the lottery, bro.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
What Flannel said. This is crazy.
It has finally happened.
Imitates art.
Oh yeah, JB. Do we have Colt? Not for the show, but just for my own personal viewing pleasure. Do we have Colt Keith's whole list?
I can find it.
Okay, I mean, yeah, you know what? I could probably find it on the internet. But just to go back to that really quick, Seven is a movie that I've never seen but want to.
Oh, so good.
Thank you.
So
I've also never seen Pulp Fiction and Silence of the Lambs, but those three are very high on my list of ones I want to see.
The Will Smith one?
That was a Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt,
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman, Kevin Spacey. That's when I was doing like, what's in the box?
I didn't understand that reference, and I want to, so I got to get on it. I got some homework to do.
I can't believe you haven't seen Pulp Fiction.
I know, bro. That might be the next one that I watch. I've been on a big movie kick lately.
Did you watch Apocalypse Now?
Orange?
I did. You know what? That's another one that's. I did not. I did not watch A Clockwork Orange, but I mean, Apocalypse Now. I have seen A Clockwork Orange.
You have.
Yeah.
What about you, Kavase? Have you seen Clockwork Orange?
No.
It seems like
it's a great movie.
Seems like something that your mind would
absolutely you would love A Clockwork Orange.
I haven't seen it. I've been just taking the time to watch. I know it's like 3 hours long, so Kubrick classic. He's got a lot of really good ones. So.
Yeah. Shout out The Shining. Shout out 2001: A Space Odyssey. Just to name a couple.
Dude, The Shining, like that's like working from home is like essentially like you're turning your house into the fucking
100%.
What's it? The Grand Hotel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All work and no play. You're gonna start writing that back to back to back.
Oh boy.
What about you, JB Smooth? Anything that should be notable in Europe from your collection?
My collection, I definitely have to drop. Harold and Kumar has to be on this list. The first Harold and Kumar. I'm not doing the rest of the sequels.
That was my college movie. That was like
the sequels
it for me.
terrible.
And for the record, JB and Kool-Aid, that's not like a movie that's so stupid it's funny. That is a great movie.
Oh yeah,
dude. Even critics love Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
I love that one.
It's a great comedy. But I see this from Shad being
never
very
go wrong with Doogie Howser.
Hey, shout out. A very fictionalized version of who he actually is, but shout out.
Hey, NPH wouldn't do that.
Neil Patrick Harris.
He's electric in that movie.
He's so good in that movie. He's so good. But Shad 216, very on brand. What are Sam's thoughts on Django Unchained? Haven't seen it. I'm sure you have a theory on why I haven't seen it, you bum.
Saturday Night Vibes, JB Smooth.
You bum.
JB Smooth, this is a great opportunity.
Sean, you are way too comfortable just throwing that around, brother.
So
but that's
it'd be
all right.
nice to
How many
see.
people would tap into JB Smooth,
I can't see.
Cavassier
You
Chase,
can't
sitting
see.
down
Man,
and
just can't
showing
fucking
Flannel the
see.
movies he hasn't seen yet?
and
I would love to
Django.
see JB sit down with you and watch Django and Chain Flannel. I think the chat would like to see
I mean,
that.
I know it's got like great reviews and was highly regarded. You can't see all movies, man. I've had to dive into sports really deep the last 4 years, and I'm just now getting back into movies. I've got like 10 on my list right now that I got to either watch or rewatch to get a better idea.
You gonna let him sleep in the big house, boss? Oh no.
Most of them bleed out 7 minutes. Most of them.
No, but this is a great list, by the way.
It's a good list. I gotta find the rest of his list. And finally, I will end what's trending with this because I know we're a little short on time. I'm gonna have to pause this video for you guys so you can see, but I got a question for you. Does he make this pass?
Oh, man, with the fans.
Does he make this pass?
It's a good slot, a good arm slot, good launch release. It looks like he has the window lined up. I'm going to go. I'm going to go with no.
I'm going to go with no. I'm going to go with like disaster happens, but who knows?
Especially
JB
with
Smooth's
the QB1 at the bottom, that makes me just go,
JB
you know what?
Smooth's
No.
submissions are very unpredictable.
Chase, what do you think?
I think if they completed the attempt, it wouldn't be here in what's trending.
Well,
I tried to give him some love, but nah.
Well, you guys are right. As he just breaks everything in the house. Awesome.
And his
Terrible.
oops is almost like Heathcliff, bro. It's almost like, I don't think he's saying oops. I think he's like disaster in front of my eyes. Look what I have caused.
Yes, and
terrible.
Dante151, because it is a super chat. Flannel, have you seen Caddyshack? If not, watch it. That's another one that I haven't
that's a good
seen.
one too.
I know that I've got a lot of homework to do, and hopefully by
No respect. Can't get no respect.
Hey,
snakes on a
another
plane.
reference that I'm dying to understand. I know Rodney Dangerfield, that's like his tagline, but a reference I'm dying to understand. Hopefully by next Monday, I will add another movie to my list. My most recent submission, and this is one that I had to rewatch for the second time and love even more now, Pride and Prejudice. Great movie.
Are you taking English lit at home, Sam?
It's a great movie, bro. It's a great movie.
You know what's interesting to
The
me is
Jane Austen?
Yeah. Keira Knightley, Matthew McFadden, Rosamund Pike, Donald Sutherland. Learn culture, Chase.
there was a
Rosamund
time when the
Pike.
Matrix. Family, as always, you guys are the most important part of this thing. It's been a show, and we're appreciative of you guys being here to support us. Go ahead and smash that like button if you didn't get an opportunity to. We're very close to our like goal, and tap in all weekend, starting last night. Going until Monday, we're going to be covering the Detroit Grand Prix. Justin is our lead reporter. Fast and loose with boots on the ground as credentialed entity for Woodward Sports as well. We're going to have a good time. Woodward Sports takeover in the city. We got that dude Justin in the building. We got intern Ryan and intern Noah in the building. Shout out to our brothers Matthew Broder and KG in the sound booth. You got Cavassier Chase. What up, though, brother?
Hey, what up? Hope you guys are having a good one. Looking forward to all the fun stuff going on this weekend with the Grand Prix and everything like that. So, hopefully the Tigers keep it up. Nice tasty, sweet victory this morning. So, like I said, looking forward to a fun weekend. And, anytime you guys want to talk movies, man, that's definitely one of my cups of tea. So.
Yep.
That's what's up, bro. Hey, Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth, JB Smooth. What up, though, brother?
Hey, what's going on? Another great show. Once again, Woodward Ringside. New episode is out right now. Fast and Loose, another episode is out right now as well, too. And if you want a little bit more JB, I will be dropping in the chat later on in a couple other shows of the No Chill podcast to give it a look-see. And also, EA College Football trailer just dropped, everybody, so go check it out.
That's right. Woodward Sports MVP, Woodward Sports vet of the squad and vet of the network, and the MVP up here, man. That is Flannel Sam, one of our Red Wings correspondents. What up, though?
Tune in to Woodward Wings Saturday at 10 a.m.
Hey, it's your boy Brandon Dan, Katie Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network, and loving what we do each and every day. Thank you guys for supporting us. It's been Wake Up Woodward. Have a blessed one, y'all. Victory shades it up.